Good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us to the Foothill Credit Union's 62nd annual meeting. This is our first ever virtual meeting, and I'd like to call this meeting to order. The first thing I'd like to show everybody is our agenda for the evening. And please know that there will be an opportunity to ask questions later, but all of our attendees are muted with the exception of the board of directors. Is there a quorum this evening?
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much, Ms. Murphy. The next thing on our agenda this evening is the approval of last year's annual meeting minutes. And for all of those of you watching this evening, our 61st annual meeting minutes are posted to our website. From the board of directors, may I have a motion for last year's annual meeting minutes?
Mark Shaldu makes the motion.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Tammy Murphy seconds.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
David James, I'm abstaining. I wasn't there.
Thank you. The next slide, I'd like to introduce you to our board of directors. And left to right is Mr. Scott Peterson, my vice chairman, Ms. Tamara Murphy, Mr. Rafael Soriano, our secretary, Mr. David James, myself, Linda Dempsey, our treasurer, and then Mr. Mark Shaldu. In the next slide, I'd like to introduce you to our supervisory committee. And again, left to right is Tony Ramirez, Brandon Craig, Kevin Harishu, the supervisory committee chair, Ryan Kiecki, and also not pictured is Rafael Soriano, and he's our board liaison to the supervisory committee. The supervisory committee report is such that they are responsible for conducting an annual audit, and they oversee all of our proper internal controls that they're maintained. They're also tasked with contracting with Richards & Associates, our independent CPA firm, to conduct an annual audit. And this year, the supervisory committee has approved the audited financials prepared by Richards & Associates for fiscal year 2019. And this year, we had 4 board members come up for re-election, and they are pictured here: myself, Rafael Soriano, David James, and Tamara Murphy. And because there were no other nominations, these directors are declared elected by acclamation. Next, I'd like to introduce our CEO and president, Mr. Brian Hall. Brian?
Thank you very much, Scott. Appreciate your report. I'd also like to welcome all of you, our members, our team members, our board members, and our supervisory committee members. We thank you all for participating. I'd like to introduce our executive team, and pictured there from the far left, you have Jackie So, our Chief Financial Officer, Judy Scheffler, our Vice President of Lending, and I'm pictured there next to her. Chris Anderson, our Vice President Experience Officer, and Natalie Bigon, our Executive Assistant, and smiling there greatly, Lenny Gooch, our Vice President of Technology. Go ahead, Lenny. Foothill remains financially strong and growing, and I wanted to point out some of the things that we think you'd be interested in. Our deposit balances last year increased by about 10%, which is excellent. That's the red bar on the graph there, and compared to the green bar down below, that's our peer average deposit growth, and you can see we compare very favorably with our peers. And then moving to our next slide, it's very important for our credit union as we take in our members' money to put that money to work, and one of the ways that we do that is by loaning that money out to our members. And you can see that in 2019 we had excellent deposit growth, about 15.3%. And again, you can see that that compares very favorably with our peers in the green bar down below on the right. Another measure of strength for a credit union is capital or net worth. And this graph illustrates where our net worth has been trending. And on the far right, you can see that we're at 12.5% as of December 31st, 2019. Again, comparing very favorably with a peer. And the graph also shows our asset size at about 494 million. and approaching the $500 million mark. And just to let you guys know, in February of 2020, we surpassed the $500 million mark, which was a milestone for the credit union. So to summarize some of the things that are important, our new member growth has been strong at 4.6%. You can see compared to the peer on the right, about where the peer is averaging about 1.5%. Another measure of strength that's important for a credit union are our earnings or return on assets. And you can see that the credit union achieved just over 1% during 2019. And with all of those loans that we're making to our members, it's also important that they're quality loans and that they will repay. And our delinquency is very low at 0.16%, and you can see how that compares to peer on the right very favorably. We do survey our members regularly in a bunch of different ways. One of the ones is our net promoter scores or net promoter rating, and that's running about 75%, which is a very favorable score. And as this meeting is virtual tonight, we've had to take extensive precautions to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. We've had to regularly sanitize our facilities. We've begun wearing masks. I took mine off just now so that I could speak more clearly. And we're certainly practicing social distancing. So those are just some of the things that we've done to make sure that we are keeping the organization safe. And in closing, I just want to again thank our board and our supervisory committee and our team members for providing excellent service with our members. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Brian, for your report and for your excellent leadership during this stay-at-home order and this COVID period. For everyone attending, the annual report, as well as last year's meeting minutes, can be found on our website at foothillcu.org. And that, if you have any questions about either tonight's annual meeting or about the credit union in general, you should be able to see an email address on the screen in front of you, annualmeeting@foothillcu.org. And if you have any questions, email us and someone will respond within 2 business days to answer any questions you have. At this time, I'd like to conclude the 62nd annual meeting. From the board of directors, may I have a motion for adjournment?
David Jane so moves.
Can I have a second?
Tammy Murphy, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, we are adjourned until next year. Again, thank you for watching. Please stay safe and healthy.